Hey everyone, David here, and yes, I am back with another video. Isn't that weird? I'm uploading another video just 2 days later. Yeah, I'm gonna try to make more videos, and not have such a long delay time for my next video. And because I have a lot to say, and I've been wanting to say it, but so many things have been holding me back, and I think I'm at a point where I'm ready to just be open and honest, and excuse the background noise. There's some construction going on. Anyways, the topic of this video is going to be mental health. And I'm going to open up about my mental health and how it has evolved over the years, and I'm just going to be honest and vulnerable because a lot of people deal with this, and a lot of people are just so ashamed and afraid to open up about it. And I want to be able to create an environment where people feel honest and open about their mental health, and they don't need to feel so, scared and afraid that the world won't understand, because someone out there does understand, and a lot of us are experiencing these mental health issues. So without further ado, I'm gonna start this video and talk about how my mental health has evolved throughout the years and the many struggles that I have endured. Trigger warning, content warning in case any of this might affect you. So I'm gonna start right from the start. So when I was a kid, I had separation anxiety issues. I remember when I was like 4 years old, my mom was taking my sister to school, and little old me followed right in the middle of the street. Cause I don't know, I guess I was a mama's boy. I don't know. I had that separation anxiety. I just didn't feel safe when she left. And I remember even when I was like 5 years old, 6 years old, I thought my family was kidnapped, and literally I thought that they were replaced with imposters. Like, this is a 6-year-old's thoughts. So all this anxiety and stuff has followed me throughout my life, and I've grown with it since I was a kid. Let's go up to elementary school. I had social anxiety. I didn't really have many friends. I would actually stay in class and volunteer to help the teacher instead of playing outside. Or I actually do remember just sitting on the benches alone, sad. Or sitting on my number, because we had little numbers that we would line up in after the bell rang. And I would just sit there and just keep to myself and have all these thoughts going on about how people wouldn't want to hang out with me, which sounds really sad, but it is what it is, and I've grown out of that. I'm still terrified of people. I was thinking about this earlier. The things that terrify me are the things that a lot of people aren't terrified about, and the things that a lot of people are terrified about, I'm not terrified about. For example, scary movies, Halloween Horror Nights, all that stuff, jump scares, to me, that's exciting. To me, that's exciting, but to me, social contact, going on trips with friends, going to parties, things like that, that's what scares me. Which is bizarre, but that's just the way that I work. So, anyways, I started to grow out of that phase, and I got a little bit of friends, 4th grade, got some guy friends, got some friends, and I know some of those friends still today. They're still my friends today. And then let's move on to about middle school-ish. I actually convinced myself that I had a life-threatening disease. I'm not going to go into details, but for 3 years I would look in the mirror every day from age 10 to 12 and just think that I'm gonna die. I thought I was dying. I looked in the mirror every day and I saw myself dying more and more every day, and I even created symptoms, and I would cry every single night, age 10 to 13, age 10 to 12 actually. But it followed me up to age 14, because even after the doctor told me nothing was wrong, when I finally decided to get checked up, I still believed it, because for 3 years I believed I was dying. Age 14 I got addicted to exercising, and that's when OCD symptoms started to appear. 14 years old, I would go home and do like 3 hours of sit-ups every single night before my homework. If we went to a family party, a family gathering, or a restaurant, I wouldn't be able to just enjoy my time at all. I was just worrying about my body and how gross I'm gonna be if I don't exercise, and a lot of that was like body dysmorphia and things like that. And throughout high school, there were times where I ditched events because I thought everyone was gonna judge the way that I looked. I thought that my face was the most hideous thing ever. And other days I thought I was gorgeous. It just didn't make any sense. But that was high school. Yeah, a lot of changes, a lot of adjustments, and a lot of insecurities and anxiety for sure. But like I said in my last video, I was in a community service club known as Key Club, and that really helped me get out of my shell and start to become a leader and talk to people and make those connections that we need to function as human beings. After high school, this is when I first experienced depression. I always used to wonder, how badly does someone have to hurt to want to die? And then after high school, depression hit like a wave. And I finally found out how much it had to hurt for you to want to die. And that's when I started to get suicidal feelings, things like that, and it was real rough. And I remember after high school I was trying to figure out, like, you know, who am I and what am I? And I had never dated anyone at that up to 18 yet, so I had so many crushes, and I wasn't even in love with the girl. I was in love with the girl my sophomore year, even though we never dated, but I just didn't really understand who I was and if I could date guys, girls, you know, I didn't really understand. So that caused me a lot of anxiety, and religious anxiety for sure, because Catholics, sometimes, you know, I'm not Catholic anymore, but at the time I was super religious, so a lot of religious anxiety regarding my sexuality. And I remember my freshman year in college, I thought that I had to kill myself to be cleansed of my sins, or of my impure thoughts, or of my love for someone of the same gender, which is ridiculous. There was a part in the Bible that said that if your hand causes you to sin, cut it off. And I was like, well, my heart's causing me to sin, so I just need it to stop working. I need to kill myself so that God can forgive me. And that was a terrible night. I was considering jumping off the roof of my college building, and I was pretty serious about that, but I decided to give it one more day. And I remember making that decision, being up for hours, crying and sweating and panicking, and just trying to figure out what was the right decision for me to do. So it was pretty difficult, and I didn't really hang out with anybody that year, my first year. I had some friends come to me and, you know, kind of pull me out of my room. I wasn't even looking for friends. People just somehow ended up in our room because our door was open, and they became my college friends. So I'm really thankful for that, and I'm really thankful for people reaching out to me, even though I might have seemed like a real boring person at the time. Yeah, that was my first year. And then second year, my first relationship with a guy, and a lot of separation anxiety with that. Whenever he wasn't there, I felt so unsafe. And then I had acne all over my face, so I got super, you know, almost body dysmorphia, facial dysmorphia, I don't know. I just never got out of my college dorm. I would just run straight to my room, and I wouldn't talk to anybody on my floor. Nobody. Just so afraid. I thought that everyone would think I was disgusting or want to vomit at the side of my face. I used to joke around and be like, I used to think that I had the face of Freddy Krueger. Like, I honestly saw myself the way someone would see Freddy Krueger. I saw myself as a horror movie character. That's how bad it was. And I was also afraid of the sun and the sun damage, so to walk to class, I would go under the parking structures and avoid the sun as much as possible, or even bring umbrellas if I'm gonna walk in the sun. It was that bad, and obviously that ruins your life and your ability to feel pleasure and be happy. So there was a lot of depression, and that's when I decided to start seeking therapy. And it helped a little for a while. It helped me realize that, you know, certain relationships must end, and you need to learn how to let go of those. And it helped me realize that you need to face your fears. And I really wanted to face my fears, but they were just paralyzing. And to this day, I still feel paralyzed for certain anxieties, for certain hangouts and things like that. But I try to push myself more and more each day to get out of my shell, because I think this is something that I'm going to deal with the rest of my life. It's been there since I was a kid. Severe anxiety, severe social anxiety. It's super genetic. My mom has OCD and social anxiety. It just runs in the family. So yeah, that's something that I had to deal with. Yeah, my entire life. It just evolved over the years, from being addicted to exercise to, there were even times where I didn't even want to eat days in a row, to, you know, just things like that. Not being afraid to even leave my room for months at a time, unless it's like to eat, unless it's a necessity for survival. But even then, sometimes that wasn't enough to get me out of bed. So it was just real rough. Yeah, real rough. And recently I had a lot of work anxiety, and it's just so terrifying. I could see the world around me changing, and I can hear some, and then I had sleep paralysis. There's just so many things. But the thing is, mental health is super important, and we need to take care of it just as much as we need to take care of our physical health and other health needs. And that's just my story, and I'm still experiencing issues, but I have my medication, and there's nothing wrong with needing medication. If it helps, it helps. If you need it, you need it. Of course, you should always try therapy first, I believe, but only you know you best, and you have to figure out what your body needs. So if anyone sees this video, don't be afraid to ask for help, and don't be afraid to reach out. Don't be afraid to get that help, because it could save your life. I know it saved my life multiple times. If I didn't have that support, if I didn't have that help, I would not be here today, and I would not be able to record this video. For sure, I'm 100% sure. So make sure to get your mental health treated. Make sure that's just as important as your physical health. It is your physical health, the physical health of your mind and your brain. Your brain controls your body, so you gotta make sure your brain's doing good. Yeah, and I'm gonna try to make more videos about mental health and all the things that I've experienced, like sleep paralysis. Oh, sleep paralysis is the worst. I used to get it every night after my first breakup, and I would literally see spirits during my sleep paralysis. They weren't really spirits though, they were just my anxiety creating dreams in the real world, since I'm awake and asleep at the same time. It's complicated, and I'll make a video on that later. But mental health, get it checked, don't be ashamed, reach out for help. Everybody needs help. We are social beings, we need help, and that's okay to admit. It doesn't make you a weaker person. And I was thinking about this the other day, because I have a lot of friends who are depressed sometimes, and some of my friends don't want to live anymore. And I was thinking, you know what? I'm proud of you, because it takes a lot of strength to want to die every day and choose to live. And a lot of people don't understand that. They might just assume that people who are depressed or suicidal are weak. But I think that people who are depressed or suicidal are some of the strongest people in the world, because they really want to leave this world, but they choose to stay for whatever reason, because they want to get better, because they don't want to abandon their families and their friends, whatever reason. You know, they're all valid reasons, and you know, that takes a lot of strength, and it's a very difficult thing to do. So anyone who's been depressed or felt suicidal, I am really proud of you that you've been able to make it this far, and please don't give up. If you ever feel suicidal, call the suicide hotline. I'm not sure what the number is, but it's a Google search away, and get the therapy you need. Don't give up. Do not give up. Please don't. I'm not giving up. Have a little bit of hope, even if it's a little bit of hope. Let that little tiny spark turn into a flame, and let's just support each other, because you are not alone. I am not alone. We are not alone. And that's pretty much all that I want to talk about in this video. Thank you so much for watching, and subscribe if you haven't already. More videos to come. I'll see y'all soon, and goodbye. Mwah. Oh, subscribe.